Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to another episode of the Indigo Womb Wisdom Podcast. I'm your host and sister friend, Shatia T. Owsley, and thank you for watching and or listening. So sit back, grab some tea and a notebook, and let's vibe together as we have organic and practical conversations embracing intuitive womb wisdom, spirituality, and a sprinkle of magic to rebel, restore, and radiate overall wellness in our lives. Hello, everyone, and welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of the Indigo Womb Wisdom Podcast. I am your host and your sister friend, Shatia T. Owsley, and I want to welcome everyone to today's conversation. Today, we are joined by a traveling healer who glides back and forth from Washington, D.C. to Atlanta, Georgia. She is helping others let go of the things no longer serving them, just as she did for herself. She believes that transformation begins the moment you decide to step into your power. So whether through human design, energy healing, movement, or coaching, she is going to guide you to break free from limitations and align with the life you were meant to live. Today, I would like to introduce our guest, Miss Sahar, a certified life coach, an author, an embodied movement specialist, a yoga and tantra teacher, and all things human design. Thank you so much for being here today. I'm so excited.
So good. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Your smile is worth millions. So I already know you're going to have some good stuff to tell us today. Okay. So let's get started. Let's just talk about how this journey of healing started for you that led you down the path of helping others to transform their life.
Yeah, so I think you hit it right on the head with that. As healers on this journey, usually that starts with us healing ourselves. And so really this began way back in, I want to say 2015, 2016, where I just had almost an epiphany moment where I was like, I don't feel good in my body. I'm anxious all the time. It's like, okay, so what's got to give? What do I need to change in order for me to live a life that I enjoy, live a life that is free from burnout, live a life that was not dictated to me, if you will. And it started out really small, actually. It started out actually with my diet. Like I made a plan to kind of shift to more healthier eating, like drinking more water, eliminating certain foods out of my diet. And it just snowballed into other things. And so it eventually moved more into the spiritual space and understanding who I am on an energetic level. And finally culminated with returning to that inner child joy and passion of dance. So all of it is really kind of bundled in together. It started again, like you said, with that one moment of just acknowledgement that I didn't want to continue life in this one way. And so how can I move forward and change that?
Yes. So let's jump in because you are doing multiple things to help your clients to really break free of those limiting beliefs and things that have been, in a sense, hindering them from living the best life that they can live. And one of the things that I was so excited when we initially spoke and we talked was your love in your work in human design.
Yes.
So let's just jump into all things human design, especially for those who are unfamiliar with it. What is human design?
Absolutely. So basically, human design is an energy blueprint tool. So if you've heard of Myers Briggs, if you've heard of the Enneagram, if you've even dabbled in astrology, you can think of human design kind of in that same category. Except for you, it's going to show you what your energetic blueprint is, meaning what energy did you come into this world with and are you meant to embody? So it actually is a combination of a bunch of different worldwide systems. So it combines Eastern and Western traditions to create this map of who you are. So you'll find that it has some intake from the Vedic chakra system. It has intake from astrology. It has intake from the I Ching. which is Chinese in nature. It takes some intake from the Kabbalah, from quantum mechanics, whole bunch of different things kind of mashed up into this one system that just shows you more about your authenticity, which is what I love about it. Because what I found in my self-reflection and in my work is that your dreams, your joy, all of that comes from returning back to your authenticity, fully embodying that. And so human design is just one way to know yourself more deeply on an energetic level. So in a way that, you can't judge from the outside. It comes from you, from within.
because you named different practices, modalities, teachings from all over the world and how they have come together to create human design, which I think is a great mashup because you get a
Yeah.
little bit of everything. But for those who may be saying, well, how different is this from astrology? Because astrology goes deep. Is human design the same way? I would assume that you can just kind of just keep going with human design too, right?
Yeah, you can definitely dive deep, deep, deep into human design. I always tell people that are first being introduced to it, like, these are the main things that you need to know in order to move forward, but you can just keep going deeper and deeper for months and months and months on end, just like you can with astrology. And what I will say is that I feel like they go hand in hand. Of course, human design builds off of astrology, right? But what I've learned from astrology is number one of the benefits I think human design has over astrology is it hasn't been as popularized, at least not yet. So there's less stigmas of things. Of course, those that know about real astrology know that all of the things we hear about in magazines and media and conversations are usually just blanket statements. But when it comes to human design, again, we're looking more on about energy. We're talking about how is my energy of myself and how does my energy interact with the world. With astrology is giving you a different kind of blueprint. So it's mapping out different aspects of your life. It's mapping out aspects of how you were born, your parents, your significant others, mapping out what maybe your best career may be. It's literally a map of your life if you go deep into it, and it can show you sort of a life path, if you will, whereas human design is more so just teaching you about how your energy emanates and how it's meant to express itself. So the energy doesn't change essentially. There may be shifts here and there with different astrological movements and things like that. But essentially, you are who you are. And the more that you embody that, the more that you get to experience the great things that are in your astrological chart. You're in your map of your life, basically. That's what
Yeah.
I would.
I would like to know when someone comes to you and wants to learn more about themselves through human design, what does the foundation of a consultation look like with you when someone is looking to dive a little bit deeper into their energetic blueprint?
That's a great question. So let's see. So everything is really based on their chart. When people come to me wanting to learn more about themselves and how to embody more of that energy, it is all based in the chart. But I have a signature program where we go through all of the aspects of the chart. Every person, no matter who you are. Okay, so when someone first comes to me, of course, it's going to look different because everybody's individual blueprint is different, but the program is the same. We start out with the basics, the foundation of what is your type, your strategy, and your authority. And that is what any human design practitioner will tell you is the most important parts of your chart. It tells you what category of energy you are in. So, how does your aura operate in the world? And how is that aura meant to navigate the world? And then the authority piece of it tells you how you are supposed to make decisions that are in energetic alignment. So once you have those three pieces, you're well on your way to being more in your authenticity. But from there, we dive a lot deeper. We go center by center through the blueprint, through your chart. So there's 9 different energy centers in a human design chart. All of them govern different things, different aspects of the body, different aspects of the self. And by understanding how they operate and what energies are most activated in those centers, you can understand what your strengths and your challenges are. Everybody has them. No chart is better than another chart. That's what I love to tell my clients is like, there's no good and bad when it comes to this. It's just you. It's just understanding you and how you are meant to show up. And once you can fully embody and embrace that, you'll find that life flows a lot more easier. You'll find yourself not trying to force yourself into an energy that was never meant for you. You'll find yourself burning out less. You'll find yourself enjoying life more. And so that is essentially how the program goes. We tend to dip more into things about purpose and I guess your dreams are underlying all of this. So every program is all about connecting you more to your authenticity and therefore getting you into the flow of your dream life. And so by understanding all of these key aspects of who you are through human design, that's what we get to in the end.
You mentioned how it started with you. Like most healers and practitioners usually start with themselves. And so, how were you actually introduced to human design? And
So at the time, I was living in Charlotte. Everything was still pretty much shut down because of COVID, but there was this new holistic shop around the corner. I felt like I was recovering from about with COVID. I still had like this lingering cough. I felt fine otherwise, but I wanted to go there and get some herbs. And so I went to this shop and was just enjoying myself, picked up what I came to pick up. And the shop owner asked me, "What's your human design?" And I'm like, I don't know. Like, think I've heard about it, but I don't know what mine is. And so she asked for my information, pulled up my chart, and basically started telling me about myself to the point that I was then led to dig into my own chart. I started buying all the books, looking up all the things, taking all the classes that she was offering. And the more that I understood about myself and how much it related to me, I started sharing it with my friends and my family members, and they were even shocked and surprised about all of the things that I was telling them simply based off of their human design chart. So from then, I felt like this was a super powerful system, something that everybody needs to know about for themselves, just so that we can all just come back to who we're meant to be. Because there's just so much propaganda, so much in the world and society telling us that we are not enough of who we are just in who we are. We need to be something else in order to be successful, in order to be fulfilled, in order to live a life worth living. And human design is basically telling you the opposite. It's telling you, hey, this is who you were meant to be. And the more that you keep pushing against it, the more you're going to suffer, the more you're going to be sick, the more you are going to feel incomplete, the more that you're just not going to enjoy this life that we have. So that was my introduction to human design.
yeah, I love it. So you said she asked for your information. In astrology, they ask you for the location you were born, your birthday, and your time of birth. Is the information the same for your human design? Um,
Yes, absolutely. So again, human design has a basis in astrology. So it's the same birth data that you would use for your astrological chart that you use for human design. It's just that a whole bunch of other things are also mixed into there. So there's a main view of your chart that shows you the 9 centers that I mentioned earlier, but there's also a different view where you could pretty much put it next to a natal chart and you'll see the correlations. You'll see, oh, this is where these planets are here and they're in the same place over here. But I will say there's an added layer in human design where you have your birth data, but there's also something called a design date, which happens about 88 days before your actual birth date into the world. And that is more of your soul's energy. So it's more of the subconscious level. So it's energy that you have, but it's more so energy that you have to discover for yourself or that other people see in you before you do. So, yeah. I think that's awesome.
Wow. Can we dive a little bit deeper into that? Because that is so interesting. What is that all about?
So, the way that I understand it, essentially the design date, you can almost think of it, this is going to sound really woo woo, but you can think of it as the date that your
We love woo
soul
woo.
actually deposited itself fully into the womb, right? So, women, they tend to carry for 9 months. Everything is happening, your body is building itself, blah, blah. But about 88 days before you are actually birthed into the world, that is when that soul is deposited. And you still have that energy. That time is significant. And so that energy still shows up in your human design chart. So it's like you have both and they're both acting together. So when you look at your chart, in the wheel format, you will see both the planets that are in the same space as your natal chart planets, and then in a different color, you'll see those same planets that are mapped to your design date. So the 88 days before you were actually born.
So is your 88 days your true authentic self?
They're both your true authentic self. They're both
Okay.
you. It's just more, again, what is the conscious and the subconscious.
Mm.
So the words that are used in human design, it's personality and design. So you think about your personality, that's how you know you show up. That's the things that you know you have going on. It's the things that you're readily going to identify with when I tell you about them in their chart. But the design, the subconscious, that soul purpose, if you will, that's more of those things that you have them, but you may not be aware of them. They're things that your family members, your closest friends, they see in you before you see in yourself. But it's there. It's always there. It's just that that energy is more on the subconscious level.
I love that so much. You also are all about movement. So, how do you incorporate movement into the work that you do within human design?
Absolutely. So I like to categorize the work I do as energy transformation coaching and facilitation. And the movement piece comes in from again my own journey, but also my childhood passion. I grew up dancing. I love to dance. I have always danced. But it wasn't until I became an adult that I saw how dance could be a healing tool for me. So I grew up, of course, in classes, learning choreography, basically moving in the way that I was taught to move. And it wasn't until I became an adult and started exploring free movement and, you know, taking pole classes and stepping into my sensuality and my sense of self that I was like, wow, I feel differently when I allow my body to move in the way that it wants to move. And this is there's so many things I could say about movement and the power of movement and learning to tap into that for yourself. What I say often is I feel like too many of us are disconnected from our bodies. We're disconnected from the way that our bodies want to show up in the world. We tend to close ourselves off, make ourselves smaller. We've been taught certain things about our bodies in the way that they are supposed to show up in the world. And movement is a great way to clear that. It's a great way to heal that in a joyful way. So when we take the human design aspect, that's more learning about yourself. That's like up here. It's like, okay, I need to understand how my energy works. We take that movement pass piece, we take that movement piece, we insert that and now it's like, okay, now I'm embodying the energy. Now I'm learning to tap into that energy for myself. Now I am expressing the energy that I was born here with. So in the programs that I have, we tend to have movement exercises that go along with the teachings that we do. I also offer movement meditations for retreats for individuals just on their own basis. But I believe that movement is a very powerful way for us to heal our personal energy and to tap back into that authentic self as well.
Yeah, totally agree. Can you give us an example or a story of how movement unlocks something for a client that talking or thinking alone just couldn't do?
Absolutely. So I will say that I've witnessed several powerful transformations in the meditations that I've done. From what people have shared with me, I've heard testimonials where people will come into a session that I have feeling depleted, you know, feeling unsure of themselves, feeling small. And then at the end, as a result of going through the meditation, going through the different sections of movement that we have, they begin to feel more confident in what they want to manifest, feel more confident in their vision for their lives. They just physically show up bigger because you come in at your default. I am going to encourage you to push past that, to listen to how your body wants to express and emote and purge sometimes. And then as a result, people really they shock themselves. And in fact, I was shocked when I first started offering meditation, movement meditation, because it was something that I feel was almost deposited into me. It's like I was like, I had this random idea and I was like, this is how I want to do it. And I had a friend that, believed in me, was able to provide a space for me to lead the meditation. And people showed up and they were just so full of joy and expression at the end. I've had people that have come in and leave singing. I've had people come in, leave crying. I've had people come in and just their whole aura, you can just see it on them. It's totally different. And hopefully I'll have more details for you in the future. But from what I've witnessed so far, even for myself, I would say even in my personal movement meditation practices, I've just been able to tap into deeper emotions than I was used to. I know for a fact that I had a degree in suppressing emotions. Like, you never let somebody see you cry. Like you feel it, but the emotions don't usually come out, right? They come out at the most random times, the weirdest times, like when you're watching a movie and somebody else is going through something, or you're reading a book, or you overhear somebody else. You have to usually emote through somebody else's experience. By doing the movement meditation, you're able to tap into those things for yourself. You're able to move through them for yourself. So that sadness that you felt about losing that loved one years and years ago that you never really dealt with, that you just buried underneath, that can finally come out and it can be resolved. And now you can show up a little bit bigger. You can breathe a little bit more deeply. And yeah, it's a great experience.
Oh, I definitely can relate to that for sure.
It's like
Mhm.
even just watching somebody fully express through their body is just a
Mhm.
transformational experience. And I know I'm going on a tangent here, but one of the things that I love to look at and learn about is going back in time and looking at how people danced culturally, because it was always about community. People came together to celebrate and they danced. People came together to mourn and they danced. And that was a way of them fully just embodying those emotions, letting them come out, letting them express, and just come together in community and connect on that as well. Whereas now it's so villainized to show how you're truly feeling. That community is not there. That ability to express fully is not there. And this is the space where you're allowed to do that. It's like let's come back to that. Let's come back to community, come back to self, come back to just allowing ourselves to fully express, allow the body to do what it do, which is heal. Heal through emotion and movement. That's really all it
Yes.
is. Yeah.
Yeah. So if someone is feeling a bit disconnected, burned out, stuck, what is one simple movement based practice that they can incorporate into their life that would just help them to start to move and wake up a little bit more of themselves?
Mm. That's a great question because I tend to lean on, I really want people to tap into what their body is intuiting for themselves. But if somebody were just to start out, I think a great daily practice is doing a body scan. So just sitting somewhere as relaxed as possible, taking some deep breaths, and just kind of mentally going through every piece of your bodies from head to toe, toe to head, however you want to do it. Just noticing where there may be discomfort, where there's joy, where there's tension, tightness, where there's pain, just noticing where that is. And then you can breathe into it. I love shaking as an activity, as a movement. It's a because it's a good release. So even just shaking just in the hands and wrists, allowing the shake to just envelop your whole body, I think is a great practice. But eventually I would just want to lead people more into how does your body want to move? How does it naturally feel like it needs to sense and change and shift?
For sure. Looking ahead, how do you see embodiment practices shaping the future for personal growth as well as in spiritual work?
I love that you asked that question. One, because I'm currently getting my certification in somatic practitioner as a somatic practitioner, but also I'm just going to speak from personal experience because I'm someone that has been to therapy, is a proponent of therapy, but also a person that tends to live in my head. I always intellectualized my emotions. I was like, oh, I feel this way because this and XYZ, whatnot. But I didn't allow myself to actually feel it. And so then you find yourself in situations and in places where you're repeating cycles where you are just randomly crying in the middle of the grocery store about something that happened 15 years ago, right? It's because you never really dealt with it in the first place. It's because you tried to logic your way out of it. And I don't feel like we can logic our way through our struggles, through our trauma. I feel like things like somatic healing, and all of these other modalities that are taking us deeper, taking us out of the mind and into the body are going to show people real results because we're allowing ourselves to complete a cycle as I'm learning. It's like when you experience fears in your life and they get stuck in the body as trauma, it's stuck because you didn't get to fully protect yourself in that moment. You didn't get to run like you wanted to. You didn't get to protect your body. You didn't get to um, fully express what you needed in that moment in order to feel safe. So we're returning back to safety through all of these modalities, acknowledging those feelings, feeling the feelings, and then allowing the body to do what it naturally does with its wisdom, which is then release it. I think
Yeah.
it'll be amazing, actually. I'm very excited for this work being more popularized, for more people taking a chance to experience this because I believe that we're gonna have more and more significant healing and not yeah, we're gonna have a more healed world, essentially.
I love it. I love it. So, as we start to close out this amazing conversation, I feel like I could talk to you forever and just pick your brain on so many different topics because you are doing a lot of great work, not only in the community, but I love to see healers continuing to do work on themselves. We understand that healing is a journey, it is not a destination, and we are constantly evolving and growing all the time. So, what are a couple of gems that you would like to leave our audience with today?
My goodness. Okay, I think I said this before, but I'm just going to repeat it now, which is that your dreams are at the other side of your authenticity. Your authenticity, that's the special sauce, that's magic. The more that you try to be somebody else, do what this other person is doing, copy XYZ blueprint while denying who you truly are, the more you're going to feel fulfilled inside, the more you're going to experience depression, the more you're going to experience anxiety, the more you're going to wonder why things aren't flowing the way that they should. So I would just encourage people to learn who they are deeply for themselves and learn to love that because that is really what's going to change your life for the better. And that's when all of the wonderful things start to flow.
Yes. Yes. So, what is on the horizon? What is happening in 2026?
Yes, so I do have a group program launching. It's called The Map of You, and it's where we are deep diving into human design just on that base level for you to take it and make it a part of your life so that it can transform you. As a part of that, we include that movement meditation practice. So you're getting all of the things, you're getting all of the different energy healing modalities that I have to offer as it relates to that program. In addition to that, I think the world is my oyster right now. I have so many ideas just
Yes.
locked up here that I just need to create plans and for. But I don't have launch dates yet. I don't have any of that information, but look out to see about retreats. Look out to see how you can hire me for your retreat if you're hosting one. I'm always
Mhm.
open to facilitate. And in the future, there will be a school where teachers can learn how to take this movement meditation practice and share it with their audience.
Well, so that we can keep up with all that you are doing, we can continue to love on you, support you, share your work. How can we find you? Drop all your socials, your website. I'll make sure that it is listed in the description of your episodes.
Absolutely. So on Instagram, it is at Capture Your Dream Coaching. On TikTok, it's Sahar the Dreamer. And you can also visit my website, captureyourdreamcoaching.com. I respond to all DMs. I'm open to all conversations. If you have questions, if you just want to chat, I love connecting with new people. So hit me up.
Yes. And before we end today, there's always one question that I ask our guests. With all of your lived experience and everything that you've seen, everything that you've been through, what would you tell little Sahar?
Man, I would tell little Sahar that it is okay to be you. You don't have to have it all figured out and to continue to listen to that inner voice, you know. Spent so many years looking outside of myself for answers and trying to please other people. And it's been a whole journey getting back to myself. So just stay there. Just get to know you, listen to your own voice.
Love that. And we always need that reminder. And it goes back to the work that you do, which is trusting in your authenticity and being the best you that you can be. I love it. Thank you so much for being here today. Thank you for sharing so many gems and opening us up to some new things, especially for those who have never heard of human design and just the power of movement and as having movement be meditation. Thank you for everybody watching this episode today, and we will see you in the next one. Peace.